minus 40.
Besides the dogs barking down the road, it's actually really nice and peaceful at the moment, nice and quiet and peaceful. I think Saturdays and Sundays are my favourite days of the week because I know they're the only 2 days where you can literally sit back and do nothing if you want without any concerns, and you're not limited to time because unlike Monday through to Friday where you've got business hours and people to talk to, and I don't mean people as in neighbours, but like business people and doctors and all that. On the weekends, there's literally nothing. You just can choose if you go out or you don't have to go out. It's totally a choice. And this year our rent at the complex I'm living at is going up. So I was going to go on a really big day trip, but I don't think that'll be happening because I'm going to spend a few months talking to a psychologist and seeing my doctor each, I don't know if it'll be each month or each fortnight. I don't know. But I don't have the money to do this day trip that I planned, and it was to go to a decent restaurant which is like 2 hours away from here. And when you go there, you are taken back in time, essentially, and you were given food and drinks in really old style platters and glasses and metal tumblers and all that other stuff. And the tableware is really old. So like when they put your coffee down, it's just getting plonked straight on your table. And it's just like, oh my God, are we back in the 1950s where it's kind of modern, like you've got modern workplace practices, but old style dining. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. So I was going to do a day trip, but that's obviously not going to happen. Yeah, I'm very pissed off, to say the least. I am ticked, actually. Oh God, I'm just not happy at all. I am just very, very ticked off. Oh God, I'm just like, yeah, so much for my planned outings. I can do some outings, but I can't do a lot of big trips this year because I have to get my home in order and cleaned up and everything. So I've got to literally wait until next year to do anything major, which I'm very pissed off about. But anyway, This year is all about keeping track of my health and mental well-being, and I can't prioritise day trips and health and well-being at the same time. I have to pick one or the other, and I'm picking health and well-being, and I'll deal with the day trips and other outings later. I am still waiting for my replacement disability parking sticker. I have to check my mailbox tomorrow. I should probably check it later today, but it's freezing cold and I'm staying inside. It is bloody freezing. It is really, really cold. It's only 13 degrees outside. It is freezing. 13 degrees. It is cold. I turned off the heater earlier thinking, I don't need the heater on today. But obviously I do. Which kind of sucks because now I've got to get up and turn the heater back on. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off about that. Yeah, I'm getting sick of winter. I want winter to hurry up and turn into spring already. I want spring to come already. I just don't want summer to come in because summer's always really hot. And I have to clean out my water bottles because, they really desperately need to be cleaned out. They have to be prepared for summer when I will be drinking an awful lot of water. I eventually want to get a cold and hot water cooler. I don't know how I'll go about getting one, but I guess the other problem I have is how will I maintain them properly, because when people say, can I have some cold water, and I don't keep cold water in my unit, I can always buy bottles of water and put those in the fridge to, so that we have cold water. I could always do that. And I could, I don't know, probably get a small water jug and put that in the fridge so that there's always some cold water. I guess I could probably do that. The issue is I like to put a lot of food in my fridge so that I've always got snack food there, but I guess putting a small jug of water in the fridge won't be a huge issue. My problem with that is I like ice cubes too, so I would need to I would need to also put ice cubes into the freezer, something I can't do at the moment because there is too much food in there, so I have to use it all up before before summer. Which I will do, I'll use it all up. It'll get used. then I can put some ice cubes in there ready to go for summer. My only concern is my little fridge freezer. It freezes, but it doesn't freeze, I don't know, it doesn't freeze properly, I find. It's quite stupid. I think the freezers on top of the fridges are really crappy quality. They don't work properly. They just don't, you know. I have to check the switch in my freezer to make sure that it's actually flipped all the way to the right, because, you know, it just, I don't know, it's defrosting too much, and I don't know if I've bumped that switch by accident without knowing it, which has fucked up the freezer settings, and I don't want my food to make me sick. So, even though the food freezes, I don't think it does as well as my deep freezer. See, my deep freezer freezes everything till it's like minus 18, minus 20 degrees Celsius, whereas my stupid crappy on top of the fridge freezer only goes to like -1, -2 degrees. And I'm not very happy about that, because I want frozen food. I don't want half frozen, rotten bloody shit. I want actual frozen, decent food. But anyway, I'm sure I'll sort that out. The freezer does have a defrosting feature. So does the deep freezer. The deep freezer definitely has a The deep freezer definitely has a defrosting feature, so that's the good part. That is definitely the good part. But yeah, God, it's freezing out there. It's so cold. I definitely need to put the heater back on. But I've got to give my kitchen bench a decent clean up too. Which I'll do that in a minute. I'll use some vinegar and I'll clean up the kitchen counter with a bit of vinegar. Vinegar is really good at cleaning everything. Everything, you just use vinegar. You just use vinegar. Oh, God. Oh, my support worker was quite funny the other day. We were using Glen 20 to spray the bench where she'd gotten rid of a dead insect, and I'm like, I know this is really disgusting, but I need you to help me fix this so that I don't get very sick and end up back in the hospital, because there's hundreds of theories, but we're trying to look for, you know, evidence of what's making me sick so that I have the correct bloody treatment, not just grasp at straws and guess medical treatments. So when we were spraying the bench, the lady said, "Oh, we're going to suffocate here, putting too much Glen 20 around." And I was like, no. Because the smell of Glen 20 is nice, but eventually it just about suffocates you and it's like, oh God. But I was going to use some vinegar to clean up the bench because she read the instructions. You can't spray Glen 20 onto wooden surfaces, and that includes your door, wooden doors, wooden door frames, because apparently Glen 20 stains wood surfaces, so you can't spray it onto dining tables or anything like that. The wooden ones. So anything wooden you have to not touch with Glen 20 aerosol spray. Just don't do it. Because it will fuck up the product, the wood, especially a table area and a door, Yeah, so anything that's non-wooden, not wooden, and not any material surfaces like the couch or anything like that if you don't want to fuck it up. So Glen 20 can't be used on all surfaces, only certain surfaces. So in the bathroom, you can't spray the vanity because it's wood. You can't spray the vanity, you can only spray the basin. And I wouldn't spray the mirror, it's not necessary, but, you can't, in the kitchen sink, you can spray all the bench and all the kitchen sink area with Glen 20, but then the dishes have to be put away so that Glen 20 doesn't get on the dishes and cause toxicity because of ingestion later, which is very, very bad. So you have to be really careful with these sprays. They're good, but they can be really, really shocking for health. If you ingest any of the Glen 20 product, you're on your way to going to God, basically. Yeah. I also have ditched, not that I've ditched all YouTube channels, but I don't believe any of the religious fear-mongering that's going on. Like, people get on YouTube every day and spout off doomsday shit that's not even real. It's not even reality. It's just, yeah. And like, I can't diagnose psychosis because I'm not a licensed psychiatrist or a doctor. I mean, some things are quite obvious that I can just say, look, see a doctor, this is really psychotic. But honestly, I can't actually diagnose it. So all I can say is that half the shit that we hear about on YouTube is just a heap of bollocks and it's no evidence of reality whatsoever. Like, the way I question beliefs, and I'm like that with religion too, I don't care what it is. I don't give a shit if it's New Age or Christianity or not. I don't give a shit. If you hear something, don't be gullible and believe it unless there's realistic proof that this stuff actually happened. Otherwise, you're going to believe anything. Like, I could tell you that an alien abducted me last night, and because I don't have evidence, you'll still believe me? And obviously, there's a grey area because I can tell you anything, and some things are actually true, But then you've got to have a story to back up. Even if you don't have tangible evidence right there has to be some kind of sense to the story. Like, if you tell someone something that happened to you and there's no tangible evidence, is there enough of a story that you can prove that you're not lying? And by lying, I don't mean Because you can say something that's not true, but then you're not lying either. So, if you say something and you swear that it's honestly true that it happened, how do I believe that? Like, if you say, okay, yesterday I got beaten up, and there's no proof that you got beaten up, but I don't know, I'm just going with what you said. And then you end up telling me, well, I was here at I was at the shops and this happened and that happened, and then I was beaten up, and it's like, oh my God, that's actually verifiable, even though I can't prove it, and there'll be evidence of you being beaten up, but I guess I just don't have the evidence in front of me. It's verifiable, so it's like, oh my God, I hope you're okay, Oh, goodness. Like, Jesus, man, don't get beaten up. It's like when people tell me that there is scary guys at the shops when there are actually scary guys, because not only are they verifiable as real, honest accounts of what goes on, I also go to the shops and find sometimes there are terribly scary people who go to the shops. So these accounts are verifiable and actually true, So, like, that's the difference between someone telling a story that turns out to be genuine and honestly true, and then someone telling some bullshit story about an alien taking you into a spaceship that does not exist, putting you back on the Earth. Meanwhile, that story is just a heap of shit that never even happened. There are some exceptions that I'm just like, you know what, this sounds like a heap of shit, but actually there might be some truth to it, and maybe the people giving their account can't verify it right there in front of their face, but they know something actually happened, so there is some legitimacy to the story. But I don't think that's the case in every single UFO alien abduction account. I think it's the case with some stories, things definitely happened. But then I'm not a gullible person. I don't know what really happened and what didn't. But some people are obviously not only telling the truth about what they know happened in their life. I mean, some people can tell me what they think happened in reality, and then reality isn't the way they think. Like some people can say they were abducted by the CIA when the CIA never did anything, and there is no evidence of the CIA in somebody's life. So yeah, obviously people can tell you a big story and it can be completely non-existent, But there are some accounts that you just know, yeah, I don't believe any of this shit, but maybe the person is telling the honest truth and it actually is an existent, something that actually happened in their life. And it's hard for me to tell because I'm not there with these people's accounts, so I don't know. And I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't determine what's schizophrenia and psychosis and what isn't. I can't determine that. I can say, well, I'm guessing that's psychotic, but I'm not a doctor. But I think, you can be sincerely wrong. You're sincere about being honest about what's happened, but you're absolutely wrong and it didn't even happen, But at the same time, things do happen in people's lives and people are actually telling the 100% honest truth. If you say something happened yesterday, it actually really happened yesterday, And other people, I guess the difference being, if you tell the truth about what you know happened and the story can be verified, then yeah, But if it can't be verified and you still think it's true, then something's going on in your mind somewhere, you know. So, yeah, it's hard to kind of know what I do and don't believe, because I guess 98% of people telling me stuff aren't, or not just telling me stuff, but when I listen to stuff on YouTube, 98% of people aren't going out of their way to lie or be dishonest. They're just saying what they think happened in reality. There are some people who I know on YouTube definitely lie for the clickbait. They just make shit up, make up a story and say, oh, by the way, it's a true story. And it's like, yeah, sure, it's a true story. Don't bloody lie today, mate. Don't lie, dude. I know you're talking out of your bloody ass, and I'm going to unsubscribe from the fucking channel because it's a heap of shit. It's a heap of crap. But then there's other people who are telling the most honest account of what they know happened. And even if it turns out to be a mental health crisis, a hallucination, all that kind of shit, at least they're being honest about their account. It probably never happened, but they're like, I swear it happened, and this is how I experienced my fake reality, of all things. But then again, there are exceptions. Sometimes things really actually occur. Life does have strange elements of unexplained phenomena, and truth can be stranger than fiction sometimes. I'm just one of your skeptical people that has a hard time believing anything. And then it turns out sometimes I do verify that I can believe things. Like one support worker the other day told me about some horror stories, and I'm just like, lady, if I hadn't already met you before, I would have thought you were just talking shit. I would have thought you were just lying. But she told me some horror stories, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, you know what? I can arrange things differently at the doctor's and at the pharmacist, but fortunately I've already got a self-management set up at home. So I'm just as secure, if not even worse, than the pharmacist. And the doctors, obviously. And I'm just like, how the fuck can people be so twisted and so fucking evil? Like, I find it unbelievable. I just find it totally fake. But this lady is telling the honest truth. I thought she was just being mentally ill, like, oh, she's just making it up in her head, it's all her imagination. But no, it's not. It's not her imagination. People are fucking twisted, mate. People are that evil that they would do some of the things that she said they do. I won't give you every story because it will kind of identify some arrangements that I've got set up, and I can't do that because it's like sensitive, confidential information. But one example is people can take vitamin pills. Think vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. They can take multivitamins and other supplements, herbal tablets, whatever they want, and they can turn it into illegal substances. Like, would you believe? There are some supplements that won't turn into drugs, but people who want to make illegal drugs can use some of your supplements that usually can't be turned into drugs. They'll mix those supplements into other drugs. Or when they use because certain vitamins can be turned into illegal drugs and certain ones can't. So when junkies turn vitamins or certain ones into drugs, they can then use other vitamins as part of the drug mixture. So the vitamins that they use to turn into drugs, they then take other vitamins that wouldn't be turned into drugs, they get mixed into the substances. It's like taking one pill, well, not even one tablet, taking a packet of pills, let's just say vitamin D, and then extracting the ingredients from that, making an illegal substance out of it, right? And then taking another supplement that's not a, illegal drug, obviously, but taking that and actually combining that with the new stuff that you make from, and I don't know how people turn vitamins into illegal drugs, but the stuff that people convert from a vitamin into a drug, I don't know how that works. Maybe they concentrate the vitamin a lot further, or they do something with these vitamin supplements, but they turn it into a drug, and then they take other supplements that are not already drugs. Well, they are drugs, they're in medication form, but they're not already part of a drug. They put it into these other drugs. I don't know if it's to change the flavour or taste of, maybe they want drugs to taste orange, or they want drugs to taste like lemon or lime or something. And, it's pretty terrible what I find out. And it's like, I don't believe this bullshit. I think it's all just imaginary. It's just something people make up to scare the kids. But no, it is real life. So I cannot fucking believe any of this. I just can't believe it. Like, some people are just twisted. Yeah. I only found out the other day that anything that is a tablet or a liquid that comes in a bottle, even if it just says vitamin C, or it's just a really weak concoction that you want to fix your throat, take it. No, people are still twisted enough to concentrate that shit down into a really strong substance and make illegal drugs out of it. I just can't fucking believe it. So even if you buy the weakest forms of any medication, someone can still make a fortune out of it. So yeah, I am very, 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 very pissed off, because there's very few things that I can leave sitting around at home now, because anything that is sitting around that I just use for harmless reasons, like I'll just suck on this cough lolly because it soothes my throat today, someone else can be horrible enough to go, hey, I can use this harmless little substance and turn it into something massive, make a massive, huge amount of money, or if they just, I guess they don't want to go to the doctors, so in order to bypass seeing a GP or whoever they want to see, they extract substances out of these lozenges or whatever they steal or want to steal and make their drugs, and then they don't go to the doctor because they're like, hey, if they go to people's, and this is not everybody, but a lot of people, they'll go to your home and instead of going to the doctor, they'll just steal stuff because it's like, you know, I can't be bothered going to get my health checked today. I'll just take something and make it look like only, whoever's at home, what have they done to make their belongings disappear or whatever they've lost. Well, yeah, basically keep all your belongings locked up. Keep everything locked away. Because I just go to the shops and come home and get my stuff arranged every week and just live my life. I'm not sitting there thinking, all right, I wonder how I can manufacture eucalyptus and honey lollies. I wonder how I can extract eucalyptus from these lollies so that I can turn it into something else. I mean, really. Fucking eucalyptus and honey lollies and some twisted monsters can extract the honey and the eucalyptus from that product and misuse it. You've got to be kidding me. Eucalyptus and honey cough drops, of all things. Fucking scumbags. I used to be more forgiving of scumbags. Now, if people are nefarious and are attempting to steal fucking anything, they are never coming back to my home again. And I told this lady the other day, I said, well, based on the horror stories, which are probably true, based on all that shit, I'd rather just have no one come into my home. And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, well, I can go to the pharmacist and pay for them to lock up my medication if I want. But if I just take the medication home that I need each week, that can get fucking stolen too. So I have a different setup and I'm not prepared to disclose it with literally anybody. I have a different setup that works for me, and it does cost a lot of money to maintain, but obviously if you have decent, very decent setups so that no one has access to anything but you, you've pretty much got to spend money to make sure that your secured environment is actually decent. Otherwise it's a waste of time setting yourself up for success when it's, it's hard to prevent scumbags from stealing. Besides, keep people out of your home and make sure when anyone has to come into your home, you say, if I find you touching stuff that I don't consent to being touched, you're never coming back again. Ever. So, I'm very strict now. Oh, excuse me. I'm like really, really strict. I just don't put up with shit from anybody anymore. I just don't do it, I can't handle people and their shit. I just can't do it, I just, yeah. If people want to come to my home and steal something as simple as a packet of lollies, because for them, they don't want to buy their own stuff, or they want to turn those lollies into other forms of other products or drugs or whatever they want. If someone can come into my home and steal a packet of lollies, then they don't deserve to come back ever. I don't give a fuck if they are someone who just steals food. Like, if you can steal food, you can steal anything. Like, if I have to go to the pharmacist and get my medication locked up there, I don't need anyone coming into my home, full stop. I just won't put up with it. The fact that I even have to consider keeping my arrangements updated with the pharmacist already makes me think, why do I even have anyone come to my home for? I just find it crazy that people have to have their arrangements set up so that randoms can come into their home. And yeah, I know I'm not supposed to say randoms. They're from a disability support community. They're from this business or that organisation. I don't give a fuck who they label themselves to be. They're a fucking random, and that's it. They're fucking randoms, in my opinion. Everybody starts out as a random. So, you know, I find it crazy that we have to have arrangements set up in our homes so that randoms can walk in and not have access to stealing anything. It's crazy. I'd much rather just have no one visit my home so that I can have everything sitting around, laying around where I want to keep it, knowing that people aren't going to even, if people are not coming into my home, they can't take any of it, because I just, in order to let anyone into my home, I can't leave anything sitting around. So then my home looks bare. It looks like, geez, do you even live here? And it's just like, well, I do, but I'm hiding stuff from sticky fingers like yours. So, yeah, I've got to make my home appear bare and appear unlived in and look like I don't know, it just looks like I don't even have a life. But I do have a life. I just keep it undisclosed and hidden so that fucking sticky monster fingers can't take what they want and help themselves to everything. It's genuinely fucked. I just find it unbelievable that people want to just go into others' homes and help themselves to stuff without asking. It is crazy. It is fucking mad. So I have a new rule that if any guests help themselves to shit without saying, hey, am I allowed to steal one of your lollies? Can I have one of these? Can I eat this, eat that? If people don't ask and they just go and fucking help themselves to stuff, that is the last time I'll have them in my home. I don't care if they made a mistake or if they thought they were picking up some of their own things and then realised too late. I don't care if people think they are innocently hungry. I really don't give a shit what people excuse themselves to be. If they do anything wrong, I don't care if they have a disability, mental illness, neurological problems. I don't care what their excuse is. Don't come into my home and fuck up my life or steal anything because you're out, you know. I know it's going to sound cruel, but people who have problems need to learn how to take accountability for managing their issues instead of lying and making excuses to get away with doing what they want every day of the week. Yeah, I just don't deal with people. I'm not a very forgivable person around anyone, to be honest. Yeah, I pretty much just want to keep to myself and have my own company, and I'm okay with a couple of people hanging out with me, but that's about it. And you know, the rest of the world can basically fuck off, to be honest.
Stop button. Mobile 29%. Stop button.
Okay. 29% battery, hey? Yeah, I think the world can get stuffed. Too many spooks, too many monsters. Too many ambulance sirens going on out in the real world too. I wonder what's going on that the ambulance and police have to keep getting around dealing with people. Some people are innocently really sick and other people are just twisted fucking monsters doing whatever they can not to care about society and not caring about who they kill on the way out. It's like this world needs to do some people a favour, and we need more power like the US to shoot people who do the wrong thing. Because, you know, I know this is going to sound really nasty, but some people really just need to get shot one time to teach them a lesson. And hopefully they will never come back to continue their crappy, stupid antics again. You know, just really, most people deserve a second chance, but there are just some people who don't need second chances. You just use a bullet in the head and they're gone. Some people are just that crappy that they don't even deserve a second chance to breathe. Like, it's, yeah, like when people are told to drop the knife or, I don't know, stop lying about how they've poisoned food or something, at that point, their neurological and physical issues and mental health has no bearing on their accountability. They probably should be thinking of these things before they deteriorate. People should be thinking about this shit before they get shot to death. But, you know, most people are just, oh, I have to shift the blame. I have to shift the blame onto other people or my problems or this or that. Which sometimes there are cases where mental health and physical problems do actually cause certain things to fuck up in someone's life. So you can't say that every time somebody blames a mental health issue that they're at fault every time, because it's not always the truth. It's not always the case. Some people with mental health issues actually are not intentionally doing the wrong thing. There are certain exceptions. But, like, if you're going to get shot dead by the police, 98% of the time, because sometimes the police officers are assholes, but if people are going to get shot by the police, at least think about the rest of society before getting shot. Like, don't get yourself killed in public where everyone else can see and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's like there's a lot to these stories that we don't know either. We watch the YouTube video and you can show sympathy or you can say no sympathy at all, you know. It depends on what you believe about what you see on the video, but all you're getting is what is shown on the video. You don't have the whole story. We don't have my side of the story, your side of the story, and the truth. All we've got is a video with the story that is shown on the video, which is really not all the story. We really don't have the entire truth. We just have what the videographer wants us to see at the time. So when I listen to a video on YouTube that says something like the Eastern Gate in Jerusalem is moving, well, you know what? No, the Eastern Gate is not moving anywhere. The Eastern Gate in Jerusalem has never changed since several hundred years ago. It is not about to change. And I'm trying to find my cough lollies. There they are. The Eastern Gate is not about to change anytime soon. It's not moving. It's not cracking open. The gate is not going to be opened anytime soon. So if you think otherwise, that's your belief, that's your choice. Think what you want. I don't care really. It's your belief, not mine. By you, I mean anyone, not just, you know, I'm not having a grab at specific people right now, like I don't need to. I will smash someone in the face who I know of. If I ever see him again, they're seriously not going to get past me for very long. And I won't say what that means because most people kind of need to figure that out. I'm going to throw the bread out and I've got to get some vinegar and put it on the fucking bench and give the place a clean up. This cold air is making my throat play up like no tomorrow. And yet in summertime, I have the air conditioner going and it's okay. And I'm like, how does that work? How does that genuinely work? But anyway, I wouldn't have a clue. So, you know, I don't know. Oh, God. I just don't have a clue. on to clean up the base. Because I've just got to let the vinegar soak onto the bench for a bit.
YouTube. Now. Bomber. Predator comes over for 2 sisters for fun. Attachment.
I just have to turn voiceover off because it's getting fucking annoying. It is
9:28 a.m. Speech off.
Oh God, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'm very, very, very angry at someone I know of, and if I ever see him around, they're kind of not going to have a decent time talking to me because it's just not going to end well. I just cannot stand scumbags. Can't do it. I just can't. Oh, I forgot about the other lollies there. Forgot about those. Oh, I'm going to move those somewhere else for now because I forgot to put those away. Anyway, that's sorted. That is sorted. I just think, why use eucalyptus oil or eucalyptus solution when I can just use vinegar, because it does the same thing as eucalyptus oil anyway. Like, obviously eucalyptus smells nice, but, you know, it doesn't need to be eucalyptus oil, so who cares? Just got to clean up a bit here. Clean up the sink and dishes first, and then clean up the kitchen bench. But yeah, I just can't believe that there are so many scungy people in this fucking world now. And I find it unbelievable that there's a lot of fake YouTube religious videos now that are all just made up, make-believe shit, and I don't believe any of it. I mean, yeah, there's factors of life that turn out to be true, and truth is stranger than fiction, I get that. But when people make shit up about the Eastern Gate moving and cracking open when it's really not, and when people make shit up about life is changing and the world is preparing for Jesus to come back, it is, but it's not happening as quickly as we would like to believe. just because the world's changing doesn't mean it's going to change overnight and suddenly Jesus is going to come back this year. That's not going to happen. That has been the case for 2,000 years now. Like, all this bullcrap is just fear-mongering. That's all it is. It is just fear-mongering. And you know what? There's literally nothing changing about this world. This world is the way it was since time began, and nothing's changing. Our inflation that we're getting, I'm pretty sure it's just a cycle, because inflation's going to go back down soon, and you know, inflation doesn't last forever. So just because prices go sky high doesn't mean anything. The prices of stuff are going to go back down. You know, like, there's no point in worrying about a loaf of bread getting more expensive, because even though it is, prices are going to go down eventually. And all these false prophets that say, oh, the inflation around the world is going to keep going up until you can't afford nothing. Well, that's a heap of shit. Don't lie. So don't listen to the false prophets. They lie. And there's literally no proof that inflation is going to keep rising. Like, eventually prices are going to drop on stuff again. So, you know, life doesn't stay the same forever. So yeah, people can keep on lying and lying and lying, but eventually I'm like, you know, I can see through all the shit, and I don't believe any of it. I think it's all a heap of shit. I think all these religious fear-mongering videos are a heap of shit too. Like, look at what people are saying about the Euphrates River. The Euphrates River is not even changing. I mean, water levels in that river, they drop, then they rise, then they drop. That's all that's happening. Water levels drop. Some years they rise, other years. The river is not even drying up at all yet. And who says that this Euphrates River is meant to dry up by the 2040s? I don't believe that for 1 second. I think that's all a heap of shit. The river's not going to dry up. Well, not, you know, not that fast. I don't know. People talk shit, and I just don't believe any of it. I think it's all a heap of shit. I think it's all crap. I think that all this religious shit about the world, you know, people are meant to be building a temple in Jerusalem, that hasn't started. People are meant to have ashes ready for their red cow to cleanse a lot of bad people, or even priests, you know, so that way they can be purified for their temple. Well, the fact is, that hasn't even happened yet. So, realistically speaking, yeah, some people are telling the honest truth, I get it. But if it's not happening, don't scare everyone and say stuff that's not real, not true. It's no good, scaring people like that and making people look like they're bad for not believing something that turns out to be fake. Like, if someone told me often enough, because see, my mum, she was abusive, but she used to say, if you hear something often enough, you'll believe it. Well, her abuse has taught me to be skeptical. If I hear something often enough, to me it just means someone's trying to repeat a particular fallacy or lie or something to make me believe it's true until I believe it. But in fact, I won't believe anything until it's corroborated. If someone doesn't corroborate the story, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. It's a heap of shit. Until I feel otherwise, until I know otherwise, it's a heap of shit. I'm okay with people telling the truth. But if someone has to repeat something over and over again because, they're definitely not lying, I'm like, yeah, sure you're not lying. Sure. Okay, whatever. I don't believe it, but whatever. Believe what you think, believe what you say. If you can't corroborate the story, it's a heap of shit is what it is. So, yeah. I just have a hard time believing anything I hear because there's too many possibilities and too many doubts as to the veracity of the fucking story, story being told. I'm hearing mixed fucking opinions. I won't say what it is, but I'm hearing very mixed opinions about a particular place that I go to. Yeah, sometimes there are bad people there and I have to report what's going on so that people can get dealt with. But just because someone turns up to the shopping centre sometimes, causes trouble at the shops, does not mean that that place just happens to be a bad shopping centre, because now, each time anyone goes to a new shopping centre, someone bad can turn up to the new shopping centre. And then what? Are you going to keep changing shopping centres because people keep turning up that you don't like? I mean, in some cases, yes, you do need to change places or shops depending on how dodgy the whole place is. If they're just a dodgy place, you get rid of them, right? But if they're only dodgy when there's people robbing the place, but usually it's a decent shopping centre, does that mean I have to believe that you would change shopping centres or you would change places every single time something bad ever happens? I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes you've got to go to a different place because sometimes places are just dodgy, Sometimes you just can't risk your own safety. Sometimes it's easier to just go to a different place, a different area. Yeah. But if every single time you went, okay, there was someone scary at this place, I have to change shops or change areas, you're going to find bad people everywhere. So then you've got to continue changing locations. Every single time someone does the wrong thing, you've got to change locations. I mean, really. I do find that a bit weird. One gym did close down, so I can't go to that gym anymore, and there is another very dodgy gym that I would never go back to, so I can understand that. There are dodgy locations, there are dodgy places, I totally get that. But if someone is holding up a shopping centre, like, someone can hold up a bank too, someone can hold up a service station or any location that they want to rob or something. Anybody can hold up any location. So it's one thing to change shops because they're generally a dodgy area, but if the shop is usually a good place to go to and the only reason you have to change locations is because of one or two stupid people that could turn up to any other shopping location, I just think, well, yeah, no. So I just go to whatever shopping locations I'm comfortable with going to, and I'll give it a week or two. If someone dodgy shows up, I'll give it a week or two for them to disappear, you know, to go away. But I mean, sometimes I'll change shopping centres if I know that the place I'm going to is fully dodgy and I just don't like the area. But then I find a place that I can stick with and stay with that, you know, stick with that shopping centre for many years. Because it's just easier to do that, I think. It's just easier. But people can do whatever works for them, and if they're okay with changing shopping areas every few months, that's okay for those, you know, anyone to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I'm just sticking to an area that I like, and that's it. Yeah, I'm just not going to change. I'm not going to change shopping areas because there's too many mixed opinions and too many what ifs and doubts, and I can't verify that story and all this other fucking shit going on. Some things are verifiable, obviously. There are some verifiable things happening, but if you change shopping centres, you're going to find someone being really dodgy or stealing stuff or something. You're going to find some crappy people at literally any shopping centre, not just at the ones you don't like. I don't know, I'm just very iffy about specifically changing areas just because you don't like a few people. It's okay to think, you know, the whole place is dodgy, don't go there again, that's okay. But if the place is generally okay, but there's just a few crappy people that turn up there, well, so, I mean, life happens. So I'm just going to shopping areas that I like, full stop, because I don't want to drive all over town just to go to a shopping centre. I mean, sometimes I do that if there's certain products I need to get at a cheaper price, I'll do that, but usually I don't. And there's a supermarket I go to now, but I think it's shit because it's a nice supermarket. You don't have to pay for a membership to get any of their cheap stuff, but it's absolutely the same as going to any other supermarket. You don't get anything special there. You don't get any imports. You don't get... There are a few imports, but unlike Costco, you don't get a huge amount of international, American, German, other European stuff there. You just get cheap fucking shit that's about to expire, basically. They sell stuff that other supermarkets can't sell, so then they go and sell it at a hugely cheap price, and you're buying stuff that's near its expiry date. That's all you're doing. You're not getting any special products. You're just getting stuff that is almost expired. Like, come on. It's nearly expired. What do you expect? The price is going to come down until it costs almost no money. Because bloody people don't want to pay $5 for a packet of Tim Tams that is expiring, so they bring the price down to $2 or $3. Because why are you going to pay $5 for an almost expired product? I mean, get a life, get real. People aren't going to pay a hefty price for a really shit product. And I know my economics because I learned all this shit at school. The only reason people are marking down a price, and I'm not lying, the only reason anyone will mark down a price on something is if they know that the product is fucked in some way, like we're getting to its expiry date, or the product is fresh but the weight of the product is not matching other product weights. Like if you've got a loaf of bread that is 600 grams, but your current loaf of bread that you've got now is 590 grams, they're marking that shit down because they don't want to sell you a 600 gram loaf for $4 when they can sell you, say it again, they're not going to sell you a 590 gram loaf of bread for $4 when they're going to sell you that for only $2, because they don't want to make you feel ripped off. And if you've got a loaf of bread that's 730 grams instead of 700, and yet people are only buying loaves of bread that look good quality, or that the shop is allowed to sell it, So then people are like, okay, the 730 gram loaf of bread can't be sold at this particular shopping centre. Let's ship off the overweight and underweight loaves of bread to other outlets and sell them for way cheaper. So when you go to these cheap supermarket factory outlets, you're getting shit that the other supermarkets refuse to sell. You're getting shit that doesn't have any market value anymore, but because you can't waste that food, you've got to sell it at a cheaper price for people to buy. So when I go to factory outlets, I'm really, really wary of how old the product is and how close to its expiry date the product is. Because in order to get good quality stuff, don't take offence, but in order to get good quality stuff, you have to pay full price for that product. If you want a really decent loaf of bread, pay $4. If you want a really cheap, shitty loaf of bread, or you want a fresh loaf of bread that is underweight, overweight, it's about to expire tomorrow, but you've got to buy it today, you can expect to spend $2 or $3.
Version 1.008. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. Start.
You can
High
expect
power
to pay
microwave.
$6 or $8, $2 or $3 for that stupid crappy loaf of bread because it's going to expire in the next day or two. You know, if you want a product to be good quality, you're not going to be paying $2 for it. So, when I go to supermarkets, I either go to a bulk buying outlet where everything is good quality, so you're paying $30 a kilo for meat and all that, and even more for fish. $40, sometimes $50 a kilo. You're paying for stuff that you're paying for stuff that's really, really expensive, but they have to sell it in bulk, so then they bring the prices down a bit. So then you can buy the product at a decent price, but you're getting a huge amount of stuff in the packet. You're getting a huge amount of stuff in that packet. And yeah, you've got to divide it up and put it into the freezer. But, you know, if that's what you need to do to afford food, then you either go to a bulk purchasing outlet where you get fresh food at really exorbitant prices, but they give you 3 kilograms or 4 or 5 kilograms, whatever, you know. Or you go to a really cheap supermarket that is marking all their stuff down because they know that the product needs to be chucked in the bin tomorrow. Like, in reality, and you do your economic research, no one in their right mind is going to say, hey, I've got a product that is going to expire in 6 months' time, I'll just sell it for $2. Nobody is going to do that. No one in their right mind. If you go to a cheap supermarket, the only reason it's cheap isn't because you're buying good food. It's because the food is going to go rotten. You think the food's good, it tastes nice. Some of the meals are frozen because, hey, they keep longer in the freezer. They're fucking shit. They're going to expire anytime soon. Even the frozen food is not going to last that long in the freezer. You take it home and you've got 3 months to eat that. If you want frozen food to last 6 months or longer, you're not going to be spending $6 for a meal tray. You will be spending between $9 and maybe $12 or even $15 for a meal tray if you're expecting it to last at least 6 months in the freezer. Come on, guys. When have you ever seen someone selling a fully valued fresh frozen food tray at lower prices? When do you ever see that happening? Never. I know my economics. I know I can buy budget-friendly foods at a cheaper price, but they're going to be absolute shit. So I buy some expensive stuff and I buy some cheap stuff. But, oh my God, I'm not going to buy crappy food to make other people happy. There are some foods that I'll buy that you could label as cheap and nasty, but hey, they're pretty good. I'll eat it, you know, that's good. But I am not going to buy food that I know I can go elsewhere and get a better deal. Even if it's more expensive, it's just better. I'm not going to eat dog food because I wasn't born to be a dog. So I eat real food for human beings. I don't eat food fit for animals. I won't do it. There are a lot of people that say, oh, try this, eat that, and I'm like, yeah, if you want to get sick from bowel cancer and stomach issues, I'm not saying that's what you're wanting, but that's what you're heading for, good luck to you. I'm not interested. Goodbye. Don't talk shit about all of your bullshit food that you like eating. To my regular subscriber, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about people in general, talking about buying packets of fucking processed chicken breast, processed fucking meat, when I eat ham, I cook bacon and eat it, I cook fresh chicken and eat it. But what's the point in buying packets of chicken breast from the deli aisle when you can get a hot chicken and break it up into a container, and it's even nicer? What is the point in getting cooked chicken breast that is way more processed than a hot chicken from the oven? Like, hot chickens from the oven are kind of processed, but by the time they've put cooked chicken into the cupboard, it has been
Complete.
bleached and dunked into millions of fucking preservatives. And I mean, ham's similar, but chicken, I don't know. Something is just wrong with processed chicken. There's just something wrong with it. Maybe I'm fussy. Chicken loaf is forgivable. It's chicken loaf. But if I chose between the hot chicken from the oven and a pack of chicken breast, I would pick the hot chicken from the oven, and I would pick the fresh chicken breast and I would cook it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the logic of some people. And if I had the choice between buying powdered shit in a packet and fresh food, I would not buy the powdered shit. If it's a major emergency and all you've got available is a gas stove and a packet of mashed potato and boiled water, I will eat it just because I need to survive. Just because I don't want to die of hunger tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll end up in the hospital and they'll give me heaps of food, and some of it will be powdered shit anyway. Some of their hospital food is just fucking powder that they've rehydrated and reconstituted into something that we call food. Their stupid chicken that they give you is not even real chicken. It's just fucking... What's that fake shit? It's like that plant-based stuff. It tastes like chicken, but it's not chicken. It's vegan shit. You get all vegan stuff in the hospital. And yeah, it might have a similar taste to meat, but it's crap. It's good enough for you if you need nutrition and they don't want you to starve to death. Just eat their crappy food until you go home. And then when I go home and some people are like, oh, buy this powdered shit, buy this other fucking crap. Like, I don't like frozen veggies anymore because I've chopped up fresh broccoli and it doesn't go soggy when it's steamed. But I've steamed frozen veggies and they turn into mush, and I'm just like, I don't eat mush. I'd rather go to the hospital and see a psychiatrist and tell them that I can't eat mushy food, and then proceed to fucking vomit everywhere, and then they have to make sure it's not anorexia or bulimia. Then they have to find out that I'm actually fucking sick and I'm not lying, and they're like, oh, you'll have to put up with frozen mushy veggies occasionally. It's like, yeah, I know, but lately I'm just, I can't do it. I want fresh, I want human grade food. I don't want dog food. I don't want dog food. You know? So then it's like the doctors have to compromise with, okay, eat frozen veggies very occasionally. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But fucking hell, I would rather chop up and dice up veggies than eat dog shit. Honestly. I will obviously buy some cheap foods so that I can save money, but I'm not going to make myself sick and eat rotten food and dog shit just for the sake of saving money. I will not do it. Now, if anyone says, do you want to eat some of your packet mashed potato? No, thank you. I'm keeping it for emergencies. It's not an emergency situation. I'm not eating it. Even if I have to take drugs every day for a week, I'm not fucking eating it. I can chop up my veggies and put them in a container and have them ready to cook before I have to take painkillers and other drugs. I can have it all ready and then take my medication when I know I'm safe and I'm not going to cut myself and die, you know. But I'm only going to use those packets of mashed potato for actual emergencies. Something I do like, and I keep buying them, I don't like packets of microwavable rice that you cook in 90 seconds. I think they're disgusting. I don't eat those anymore. And there's these other packets of rice that you add water and vegetable oil to. They're disgusting too. I don't eat them anymore. I'm just like, ugh, okay, this is crap. What I do eat is pasta. I get these pasta packets in sauce. It's powdered sauce, and you tip it into a bowl and you cook it, and it comes out pretty good. Like, sometimes I cook it for too long and I burn the pasta, which is not good. I mean, you can burn the pasta, but it's very nice, and I'll eat those all the time. Like, there's certain packaged foods that are actually very nice when reconstituted and cooked, you know. They're just really good. So I would definitely eat those packaged foods. But veggies powdered into a dry powder. I mean, dry powdered veggies that you reconstitute in boiled water. I don't eat KFC because I can't stand the food there. Why would I buy any of the same food that KFC offers? I mean, it's disgusting. I don't get it. I won't eat takeaway food because it's horrible. Why the fuck would I buy packets of food that the same takeaway restaurants offer? I mean, am I supposed to be treated like an animal or something? I mean, I don't eat all that fucking stuff. I'd rather go to the damn psychiatric unit and be fed there and just say I've got anorexia or I can't eat. And then they find out that, oh, your anorexia is caused by eating shitty food, so now you can't eat. Like, yeah, hello, doc. I kind of already fucking knew that, doc. Oh, see how you change your diet and see if you get worse, and if you do, it's definitely something psychiatric that needs fixing. But if you get better with a change of diet, it's psychiatric issues caused by bad dietary changes, and it just needs fixing. It's like, yeah, stuff that I already know, that if I'm eating shitty food for long enough, I'm going to stop eating. If I'm drinking crappy tap water, I'll stop drinking that too. So yeah, I might have psychiatric issues, but they are based on avoiding what I don't like. They're not just imaginary, I'm just telling myself not to eat today, you know. So then these fucking doctors freak out because I'm not very hungry. It's like, well, get me some actual food that I'm going to enjoy wanting to eat, and I'll start getting hungry again, eventually. Because I'll get used to eating real food again, not just dog shit. So, in any case, In any case, I'm keeping the dog shit for emergencies. You know, if I don't have an actual choice, I've got to eat dog shit. Fine. But it's only for a couple of days, not for a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever, you know. I'm just extremely picky about the foods that I eat because I'm a fresh food person. I'm not a fucking powdered vegetable junk food type person. I'll eat a bit of junk food here and there, but
Door open.
I don't eat takeaway food. I do not eat restaurant brand takeaway food. I just won't do it.
Door closed.
I can't wait to talk to this psychologist next week. I'm going to make sure he finds out everything that's fucking wrong with my life and make sure he fucking... I don't expect him to teach me how to be nasty to people, but there are a couple of people I know of who are very much... I don't know. Their opinion matters, and if you say you don't like something, well, you're disagreeable. Well, maybe this psychiatrist needs to, or he's a clinical psychologist, needs me to fucking understand how to deal with a narcissist like them. You know, and I'm going to give him a decent picture of what the fuck happens with life. And I'm going to fucking make sure he knows, if you're offering me dog shit because there's dirty water, the power's out, you can only have gas, and you give me a plate of dog shit, I'm like, yeah, it's an emergency, anything goes, because I don't want to get hungry and die. But if it is beyond what I can tolerate and it's just disgusting anyway, I won't even eat it. I would rather go hungry than eat disgusting crap. You know, don't get me wrong, if we have no electricity and the water is untreated and it's likely to make me sick, I'll filter the filthy water and then I'll boil it and then I'll have eggs on bread. I'll have eggs on bread for the next 7 or 8 days. I'll eat eggs and I'll eat spaghetti. I can't eat baked beans because they cause major stomach upset and I end up very, very sick if I keep eating them, because I've tried eating baked beans every day of the week and I end up so sick. Like, I just can't eat them. I don't know if I've got an allergic reaction or if something's wrong where I just can't eat a lot of baked beans. If I'm offered a mouthful of baked beans, I'll eat them, but I just physically can't eat baked beans every day. I end up very, very sick and nauseous and all that. Diarrhea, all this other shit. I can't tolerate them. So I don't know if it's classed as an actual allergic problem or if I know I have some sort of intolerance to baked beans, but I don't know if it's allergic or not allergic. It's just an intolerance that I got, you know. So, yeah, I'm quite ticked off, but I can eat tins of fish, I can eat spaghetti. Every day of the week without getting sick, I'm fine with it. So, I would eat tins of fish and boiled eggs and tin spaghetti every day, and bread, and a little bit of butter. Not a problem. No issue. But yeah, don't ask me to eat really shitty food. This psychologist definitely has to talk to me. And, you know, I'm also going to make sure that we talk about just everything, because that way, if anybody tries to push my boundaries, I can just say, well, I said no. No is a complete sentence. If I tell you I don't like certain foods and you don't agree with that, that's your problem. And if I have to eat food to make you happy, then maybe I don't need to be friends with you. You know, that's like, why would I eat food to make other people happy when I can just eat what I enjoy eating and be done with it, you know? Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? I really cannot understand that, I don't know, the lack of common sense or something. Like, some people just make me think, how do they even still breathe? Like, how are people still surviving with their lack of common sense? You know, I just can't understand it. Now I have to look for my phone. I can't find it anywhere. Where is it? Oh no, where is it? Oh, where is it? I found it. It's fucking right there. And then I've been given stuff that I drink politely because I really hate it. And it's like, I think I'm just going to have to reinforce boundaries, because to my understanding, if I'm offered something that I don't like and I have to eat it in order not to offend someone, they're the ones who don't agree with setting boundaries, and they're the ones who are offended at me because I don't like what they've offered. Because they don't want to accept that I have boundaries. Or they're jealous because I set boundaries and they don't. So I'm getting to a point where if anybody offers me something I do not like, I don't care if I offend them anymore, because they're not feeding me or paying my fucking bills. So I don't care if I offend people anymore. I just think, if people say, would you like something, and I go, oh no thanks, I'll eat later. Like, it's not something to be offended at. I just don't want the food right now. Like, why is it rude for me to say, no thank you, I'm not hungry? Why is it rude for me to say, no thank you, I don't want any more food on my fucking plate, no thanks? What's wrong? What is wrong with people? I don't know. I also can't stand judgy people who, and it pisses me off actually, because you got people who smoke cigarettes, and it's like, I'm not meant to do it, but I do it anyway. So do it, smoke, you know, I don't care. But then you've got people who used to drink coffee and can't drink it anymore, and that's okay, you know. But then when I say, well, I still drink coffee, I'm probably not meant to be drinking it, but I drink it anyway, you know. And then the people who don't drink coffee are like, oh. And I'm like, well, would you care if I fucking smoked? Not that I agree with smoking, but if I was a smoker, would you give a fuck? It's like you care that I shouldn't be drinking coffee, but it's okay if I smoke a cigarette. Yeah. I'm glad I don't smoke cigarettes. And I've had people who give me the "you're blind" attitude. You can't see my smoke. I'll put it in your face to give you a whiff and a bit of a breathe of cigarette so you can try it because you're blind and you can't see it. If you take some in, you'll love it. And I'm just like, I can actually smell, fuckhead. And now that I've smelt it and I've tried to take a fucking breath to talk to you because you're okay with smoking, so I have to smoke too. Get a life and piss off. If I wanted you friggin' smoke, you wouldn't have me take a puff of your smoke without my consent by just going, oh, you're blind. If I put my cigarette in front of your face and don't tell you, you'll take a smoke and you don't have consent because you would say no, I'll just force it on you. Yeah, get out of my life. And I am going to report that to my doctors too. And if they say, so you've smoked, I'm like, so if I get raped and I've had sex, that's okay? And they're like, oh no, I'm just asking if you smoke. It's like, yeah, I don't smoke voluntarily. So that's like saying if I've not voluntarily been raped, had sex voluntarily, I've still done it. Well, just because someone makes me smoke involuntarily, secondhand smoke, or puts it in front of my face, no, I've never smoked voluntarily, and I've never voluntarily had any other business relationships. So, but the comparison is, if I've never smoked voluntarily but people have put cigarette smoke in front of me, the doctors can say, oh, well, then you've had exposure to cigarette smoke. Yes, I have, and I don't believe in smoking, so I'm still not going to voluntarily smoke cigarettes. So, it's like if you were to ask about relationships, I'm like, well, I'm blind, so even though I don't voluntarily hang out with people I don't like, people sometimes give me the "you're blind" attitude, so you're blind and we'll figure things out without telling you. And it's like, yes, and then I'm going to notice and stop and say, hey, I didn't want what you're trying to do to me. Fuck off out of here. Go away. Don't force your beliefs and your opinions and your relationship ideas into my life because you think I won't figure it out. So yes, I've had exposure to cigarette smoke, and I've also had exposure to other people's fuckwittery, because I just can't see to quickly say, no, you're not doing that. I have to wait until someone shakes my hand or drags my arm up to their face and goes, oh, there you go. And I'm like, hey, I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to touch my hand on your face. I didn't tell you you could you could just go and grab my knee just because, I can't see your hands to stop you. I didn't say you could do anything. Go away. So I've had a lot of exposure to stupid, bad people who I've then ran away from, and I've had exposure to cigarette smoke who I've then screamed at people, don't expose me to something without asking, and then tell me that it was in front of my face and I just can't see it. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Because then I have to report that shit to the doctors, and I have to report exposure to other people to doctors too. So don't try any shit because I can't tell where you are in comparison to me to stop you. Just don't fucking do it. I guess because of how stupid people can be, I have to be even more strict now so that I'm not being forced into situations without my consent. Yeah, I have to be really friggin' strict. And when I'm at the hospital and someone checks my name tag, my biggest problem is I realise too late that they're a medical person doing that. I'm like, oh Christ. By then, I've yanked my hand away and nearly yanked the tag off my wrist, and then they've had to fix up the name tag after I've torn it apart. I'm like, sorry, but when I can't see who you are and I just feel you touch my wrist, I'm going to automatically yank away really hard because, oh, don't touch my arm. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're a registered medical provider allowed to touch someone's arm to help them, or if you're just some asshole being a creep. Ooh, go away, get out, go away. And I said, too many past spooky experiences, too many spooks. Make sure you know that, or make me aware that you're not one of the spooks, and then I'm okay. So, I really love this light roast hazelnut coffee. It's not burnt. It is just beautiful. Some coffee is just made correctly, and then I can drink it constantly. I'm like, oh, yum. And I don't buy white sugar anymore. I get brown sugar because I don't like white sugar at all. I just think, ugh, I don't like it. So I get brown sugar. So, yeah, I have to be very strict, and as soon as someone touches my hand, it is an automatic, no, go away, you're not touching my arm. It is just automatic. So yeah, I end up telling people, well, if you wait until I'm running away from you to say who you are, it's kind of too late. I'm already committed to the escape to get away from you. So, not that I have to tell the psychologist all this bullshit, but they'll want to find out a lot of stuff. And then I just, yeah. I don't know what will be happening, well, in a couple of weeks when I speak to this psychologist. I don't know what will happen after that. I just, yeah, I guess fill out this paperwork on Tuesday and send this mental health care plan away, and then yeah, see what the fuck happens after that. Fucking, yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to find it horrible having to let a couple of people who I know of about my fussiness around food. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of these people that would, if given the opportunity, would just stop eating altogether. So giving me zero access to food is not going to make me want to eat something that I already don't like. I can be starving to death and not eat stuff. I would just die, you know. Or before I die, I would end up on life support machines and that. But luckily, I've got a good situation going with decent, very decent food. Damn, I have to chuck out that meat too today. Hang on, when did I buy the meat? Today is Sunday. Yeah, I definitely have to chuck out the meat today. Yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of it because you can only keep... when did I buy that sliced meat? Wednesday? Yeah, I definitely have to get rid of it today because I haven't eaten it all. I've eaten a lot of it, but not all of it. I ate a whole loaf of bread though, so that was good. I ate a whole loaf of bread, and tomorrow I can get a bit more meat and eat that on bread again. Yeah, I because I make sandwiches all the time, I eat a lot more bread, so then I've got to get bread more often. So I won't get bread tomorrow. I can always get it on Tuesday. I can just deal with that then. I hate when I think of what I want to say and I can't remember. I'll sort out my prescription refill on Tuesday and fucking get some more bread for the freezer and start eating stuff from the freezer because like I don't really need a lot more food, really. I don't. I really don't need that much food. I just need to get salad, a couple of veggies, then I can make some steamed rice and with fresh veggies. I've got a lot of pasta packages there, so I'm going to eat those quite often. I reckon I would get at least, what would I get on Tuesday? I would probably get either a piece of steak or a bit of chicken breast, and cook that just so that I can have pasta for dinner. Pasta with steak is really yum. Pasta and steak. I love steak with pasta. Yum. Steak and pasta is beautiful. Yum. And I can hear my neighbour slamming her fucking doors. I don't get it. I can't stand people who buy animals and then they let the dog or the cat shit and piss all over the house and then they don't clean it up properly, and I'm like, ugh. And it stinks. This lady's house is a pigsty, and I can't even keep my doors open because of how disgusting the smell is at the bins. Dog shit stinks, and her home emanates dog piss and dog shit smell. Sometimes I think it's better that I fucking move out, but I haven't moved out yet. But I don't want to live next door to someone who likes their animals more than they care about people, because they don't care that their home stinks, that the dog shit stinks up the bin, but they give a fuck that everybody else gets offended at them because they can't stand living around their super terrible hygiene practices, which is a physical health hazard. And then she's in denial about allergies, like you can only be allergic to dogs that shed hair. Well, no, I'm allergic to any kind of dust and dander, full stop. So even if the dogs can't shed hair, their saliva and all that dries up on their coat, and the dead coat that doesn't shed, like there's dead skin cells under the coat that sheds, all that shit comes off and it turns into dust, and it just, stinks, and it really gets to me. Even dogs that don't shed hair really stink. I do think half my issues are from the dog not being looked after properly, because I've been to someone else's place. They have a poodle, and their dog is constantly fussed over and looked after and brushed and fed and all that. And the dog doesn't cause any problems for me. So I think, like with any animal, if they're not looked after properly and their hygiene is fucked because they're not being carefully taken care of, they're going to cause health problems for anyone, especially people with hay fever. So this fucking bitch keeps denying that I can't get hay fever attacks from a dog that doesn't shed hair when she fucking knows she's lying. So I've got to keep my doors closed, and I told my doctors that if I keep my doors open, I'll just take antihistamine pills every day of the week. So rather than do that, I keep my doors closed, and there's only a couple of windows I can open, and one of my doors in my home I can keep open, but not the one near the laundry. I get into arguments with doctors all the time, and I go, so I'm not just taking antihistamines because of thin air, you know. I need to change the environment so that smells and dust and shit doesn't get in here, or it's just not as bad, and I don't get major hay fever flare-ups. And it's funny how I bought Vicks inhaler nasal spray. I haven't even used that yet. I haven't even used it. But then again, I keep my hands clean and stay away from people who are sick. And some people get over their flu illness and they've got chest issues for months. So it's like they're not gonna spread their illness. Like if they've got a chest infection but they got over their flu 2 weeks ago, they're not going to spread it around. It's just a chest infection, you know. So I'm okay with that, and I don't believe in making people stay away until they feel better. I make people stay away until they are definitely not sick with the current, like whatever they got sick with is gone. But if they still feel unwell because of residual problems, I just think if they're sick but it's not contagious and they still want to visit me, they can. I don't mind if sick people visit me if they are not contagious. Like if they are getting over the flu and it's been 3 weeks, they're not going to be contagious anymore. Because my GP told me that people are only contagious for around 14 days. After that, they just feel terrible, but they're not contagious anymore. So I don't mind if people come around when they don't feel better. But they have to have gotten over their illness at least 14 days ago. So if it's been 2 weeks since they were sick, and then someone comes out to me in a few days but they don't feel well, I'm pretty sure they haven't got the flu anymore. They just feel like shit. So just hang out. It's like the time that I went out and I was still sick and the doctor said, well, you don't have the flu anymore, you just feel sick. And I'm like, geez, I thought I was going out to spread germs to everyone. And she went, no, you're not spreading germs around anymore. And I went, oh, okay. That was last year. I just think if people feel sick and it's been just over 2 weeks since they've gotten the flu, I'm okay with them coming around. I don't care what anyone else thinks or believes. That's their belief. I'm not going to change my opinion to make others happy. I'm not going to do that. If you think anyone thinks I'm risking my health, well, fuck them. That's their choice, not mine, you know. I do what works for me, and if you're not happy with how I think, then see you later. Don't tell me how to think, and I don't tell you how to think. and then we can be friends and hang out without having to have the same opinions. But as soon as there's an argument about who's going to get sick and how I'm risking my health, look, speak to the fucking doctors about that. Get professional help to deal with your fucking anger management problems. And if it's due to problems causing anger management issues, don't come to me and get me to fix it because I don't have a medical license. I mean, that doesn't mean don't say anything like how you're having a bad day and that, but like, you know, get your issues fixed so that you're not finding excuses to fucking lash out at me constantly. It's okay to have problems, but choosing not to be responsible is not the fucking same as saying, hey, I'm in a shitty mood at the moment. I hope you're not sick and I hope I'm not going to get sick. And I'll be like, no, I was sick a couple of weeks ago and I feel like shit, but I'm pretty sure that my shitty feelings today are not going to hurt you. So no worries. And then you can be a little bit blunt and go, well, fucking hope so. It's like, yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. But after that, get fucking help and sort it out. Get help. Because we've had our little argument and we can still get the shits about stuff, but don't go crook at me, you know. Like, yeah, I don't want anyone making me sick either. And I tell people, I'm like, is your chest infection going to get me? And they're like, no, because I've already gotten over the flu. I'm like, I hope so. I hope it's true because I can't afford to get sick. And I'm still doing okay. So I think that the person in question was telling me the honest truth. And I'm like, that's better. I don't have an issue with having a small argument, getting a bit blunt, getting the shits, having some anger management problems for a few minutes and going, you better not be fucking lying because if you make me sick, I'll get rid of you. Otherwise, okay, we'll hang out. If you just feel like crap and you're not going to spread anything to me, yeah, let's hang out. We're fine. And then I have a strict rule. I can't give anything with medicine in it to anyone. So I only offer natural lozenges just with only natural stuff. Because I've got stuff that's got a bit of natural stuff and drugs in them. But I will not hand those fucking things out. I only hand out non-synthetic natural lozenges with zero actual drugs in them. And I tell people out loud, I just say, yep, zero drugs if I go out. Only drugs I have are stuff that I have to take before I leave home. I don't bring stuff with me unless it's an emergency kit that has a medical certificate with that saying it has to be with me. If I don't have drugs that specifically has to come with a medical certificate, then I don't carry them with me. I don't give a shit how much pain I'm in, how much of a headache I've got. If I'm dying of a headache, I don't have to go out. Or I can take some pain medication before leaving home and I don't have to carry any with me. If I'm dying so badly and I don't have medication with me, I can just go to the doctor's and get a fucking prescription and get a written letter from the doctor saying, you know, client or whoever, customer, client has to carry prescription at all times on their person due to the nature of their condition. So that way, if I choose to carry medicine with me, that medicine will come with the matching letter to say why I need to carry it. And that way, if anyone says, oh, do you need that? I'll be like, yeah, here's the doctor's letter, and if you tamper with it or tear it up or chuck it away or steal it, I will friggin' lose it on you. and there will be trouble. So don't take advantage of the situation, because I will get the shits, you know. I get the shits at anyone who says, oh, do you need to go home to get this or that? It's like, no, because I'm not a druggie. I don't need to go home for anything unless I'm about to friggin' die, and then I can call the ambulance, or like I can go home because I'm really sick and I may need the ambulance, I don't know. But if I'm not dying like that, no, I'm not going home to get any drugs. The exception is motion sickness, but then again, the doctors have it on their record. I don't have a written letter, but if anyone says, why do you need these tablets, I'll just be like, if you're waiting for me to vomit everywhere on a boat, then I guess I could just not take the tablets, and they'll go, oh, don't do that. And I'll be like, well, maybe that's why I'm fucking carrying those pills today, because I might not want to make myself sick. I might not want to get sick today. There's kind of no other reason to carry drugs unless you already know that you're in for some trouble today and you need them to get you out of a bad spot. So, yeah. And like, if anyone says, oh, do you just put medication anywhere? I just say no, because I end up losing it. I end up dropping it, and then I never find it again, and then I have to get new medication. So it has to go in a certain spot every fucking time I take it with me when I go out, because if I lose it, I then have to go back to the doctors to get more of it. And I'm sick of replacing prescription medication. And I'm sick of going to the pharmacy to have to fucking explain why things have to get replaced, because I can't see how I drop them. I get so angry over that. So I've got my arrangement sorted just fine, and I don't want it changed. And whenever people ask me about how I get sick, I just go, lady, number one, you don't know me, and secondly, I'm not about to let you change my lifestyle routine for you to see how I get sick, to go, oh, I'm sorry, you can't handle this, and you can't eat that, and you can't do this, and you can't. No, I'm telling you what works and what doesn't. If you do the wrong thing, I'm friggin' sacking you. Don't try anything on me, lady. It happens enough at the hospital where I tell people, hey, I'm telling you what my problems are. There's stuff on the allergy list because maybe I'm not allergic. Maybe I can take it. But I'll tell you why I don't take it. And if you think I'm lying, give it to me. You'll find out that I'm not lying, and you'll find out why I don't take it. And next time I say, no thanks, I don't want that, you'll be like, oh, that's right, this, happened last time. I'll be like, yeah. If it's a bad enough emergency, then maybe taking the drug in question is better than dying. But if I'm not actually about to die in the next half an hour, don't give it to me. If I get given something that won't kill me straight away, but will just make me sick meaning I can't just take it because of, it'll cause me to get really sick and stomach issues and that. But that's preferable to dying or something. Then it's basically take the drug and then treat the side effects so that I survive. But if there's nothing happening that will kill me, it's like I don't take aspirin because I don't want to get a stomach ulcer. But if I'm going to die of a heart attack, getting a stomach ulcer is the least of my concerns. Meaning, if I've got a headache, I'm not going to take aspirin when I can take Panadol, right? But if I'm dying of something and they've got to give me aspirin and they go, oh, you usually can't take it, I'm like, usually, but if I'm about to die, that should be none of my concern if you give it to me or not. Because you're not giving it to me for a headache, you're giving it to me to stop a blood clot. And yes, I'm going to get sick but what's more important, stopping a blood clot or letting me die because we're scared of me getting a stomach ulcer? Just give me the stupid aspirin and let it fuck up my stomach. I'm going to get a few problems, but I will get over that and I'll live tomorrow. If you just never give it to me and I die, well, mate, just give me the fucking aspirin. We'll deal with my stomach issues tomorrow when I wake up. Yes, I may have to take other tablets for a few months or maybe forever, but you know what? If I take something and it causes permanent damage and all I need to do for that is take a pill, you know what? I'll just take the frigging pill, because I can't just keep saying, no, I can't take this and I can't take that. And I can't have all these medical treatments when I usually can't. But if I want to live until I'm 90 years old, I kind of need to take some of these medical treatments, cause a few permanent fuck-ups to my body along the way, and then just take extra medication. Otherwise, if I don't do that, I will probably end up not living until I'm 90. I'll probably live until I'm maybe 60. So if I want 30 years added after I turn 60, if I want 30 years added to my life, I probably kind of need to take medical treatments that will stuff up my body in some way. But then I can take other tablets to counteract the side effects, and who cares if I have to take them for the rest of my bloody life? Who gives a fuck? It's only tablets. A lot of people make dramas about taking pills. Oh, if you take blood pressure tablets, you've got to take it for the rest of your life. So, it's just a goddamn pill. Stop being a baby and swallow the fucking tablets. Stop being a fucking child. It's not like you're being asked to change a tracheostomy tube every day, or deal with a fucking peg tube every day, or deal with something else that is actually really hard to deal with, like think of a brain stent or something, a stent in your brain or your chest or some shit. There are some things that are really hard to deal with on a daily basis, and if the worst thing I have to worry about is opening up my pill organiser and swallowing 1 or 2 pills, well, I don't know what's wrong with the universe. I don't know. And I'm going to tell my fucking doctor all that shit next week, because there are most pain relievers that I won't even touch with a 6-foot pole. Just because, hey, if I get a busted knee from tripping over, I don't need to take 4 Nurophens to fix inflammation in a busted knee, because my swollen knee will get better without taking Nurofen, so I don't need it. So I can save that shit for something worse than a busted knee. When I really, really, really have to take it, and I can just tell the doctors, you know what? I want to try and counteract the side effects of this Nurofen, because I never take it usually, but I'm asking you to give me some because this is worse than a fucking busted knee, and when I don't need it anymore, well, I just will go back to just never taking it. Usually you say no, but yeah, some exceptions do exist, and I'm not taking Nurofen just because it's a pain reliever. It's more because my fucking face is gonna blow up and the inflammation will fuck it up even more than taking Nurofen with a few side effects that causes digestive issues and that. So let's put me on a temporary plan that will fuck up my body for a week or two, which I usually just don't tolerate it, like don't put up with stuffing up my body, but life happens, and yeah, it's not like I would just take anti-inflammatories long term anyway. So yeah. I don't touch any of that shit unless it's super amounts, really drastic, and I have to choose between putting up with a few side effects or not, not treating, whatever's hurting, not treating that and stuffing up my health even worse. So yeah, I just go with whatever happens, and then the next time I'm offered any treatments, I just say, no thanks. I don't want any treatment unless it's like it has to be heaps worse than it has to be heaps worse than feeling some pain, So yeah. Oh. I have to get some new food. I don't know if I'll walk to the shops tomorrow or not. I'll see what happens, but I won't be using Uber Eats because Uber Eats is actually too expensive, so I mainly use it for rides and all that now. I use Uber for rides, and I don't buy anything off there because it's too friggin' dear. It is just too dear. I like to slowly go through my cup of coffee in like an hour. You know what I do need to do, because I've got long life milk, but it tastes like cardboard. It tastes like something, and I'm like, it doesn't even taste like milk. It just tastes like shit. I need to keep the long life milk there and start getting fresh milk and just use the long life milk every time, for example, I run out of fresh milk. Open up a bottle of long life milk, and that way I drink the fresh milk, knowing that I don't have to worry about running out of milk to make coffee when I can just drink all the fresh milk, drink some long life milk for a couple of days, and then get some more fresh milk when I go out, because that way I'm not stuck with drinking fucking long life milk constantly and thinking to myself, why does this shit taste so fucking so disgusting? Like, it's not even milk. It tastes like powdered milk, because I've drunk powdered milk before and it has exactly the same taste as long life milk. It tastes exactly like powdered milk. I swear to make long life milk, they make powdered milk and then they reconstitute the milk. Or they do something to the milk to make it taste like powdered milk. I don't know what they do, but it is really, really disgusting. And I only put up with long life milk because I really have to put up with it. But I think from now on, I'm just going to tell my support workers, hey, I've got long life milk at home, but I use that whenever I run out of chilled fresh milk. And I'll just get the lactose-free fresh milk. And what I never thought of doing before, and I guess I could start doing it, I could wash out a bottle, like sterilise it with hot water, and I could use that. Say I get a carton of milk, right? I could use a plastic funnel to tip the milk into the sterilised bottle, and then I would have fresh milk in a bottle and without having to deal with the carton. I would fill up the bottle with milk, and I would not even have to worry about the carton of milk, because I would transfer it, use up the leftover milk in the carton and chuck out the carton and have the bottle of milk. Because then I would have the milk for a few days, I would run out of it, I would use long life milk, and then I would get another bottle of fucking fresh milk. I think that's my way around not always having to drink long life milk unless I really need it, you know. Because it really doesn't even taste like fresh milk, it just tastes like powdered shit. And I'm like, I'll drink it if I have to, but I prefer fresh, cold milk. So from now on, I'm going to get lactose-free milk, fresh lactose-free. And I'll just tell the support workers, because when I get home, I can use Be My Eyes and get a photo. And if the support worker gets me the wrong product or does the wrong thing, I can send a photo to the support company's management people, right? And I can say, the support worker told me I was getting lactose-free milk, and I found out that it wasn't by using one of my apps in my phone. I don't like it when people get me the wrong products and then not tell me that it's the wrong product, because then I think, okay, I'm getting a bottle of lactose-free milk when it's not. And I just say, look, I know I'm blind, but I do find things out. and I have my ways of checking what people are telling me or verifying what people do. And if I find that people are doing the wrong thing, or I give someone an instruction and I discover that they are not actually following the instruction, I end up sacking them after a while, because I know that people are just, not everyone, but some people are just trying to take advantage of me. And I won't put up with that shit. And then you've got people who think that they're watching me walk with my cane. They then tell me, oh, you need to move your cane, they say stick. And I'm like, it's not a stick, it's a cane. And secondly, don't tell me how to move my cane. All you're doing is making me fall over, because I can't walk without my cane, because I can't see where I'm stepping, so I can step over an edge or onto something, or I can kick my foot on something and fall ass up. So don't tell me how to move my white cane. Thirdly, don't get in front of me and block the way and stop me from walking. Firstly, that's incredibly rude. I don't know why I said number one. Firstly, that's incredibly rude. And secondly, it's interfering with somebody's white cane mobility aid. And I won't have anyone interfere with my mobility aid. If I go to a medical clinic or a physio clinic or wherever, and they interfere with my white cane, I sack them immediately. And I don't go back to them, because I know they don't care about helping blind people. They don't support vision impaired people. So I ditch them. If they're only interested in helping sighted people and they don't give me good advice, because they're like, oh, you're blind and we don't know what your limitations are, so we'll give you all this advice. It's like, well, if you don't know what my limitations are, why are you being stupid and giving me advice without asking me about my limitations? Then I tell you stuff, and then you still say, oh, I don't know what your limitations are. So what? You don't listen to me. You don't care what I've got to say. Then you tell me I have a limited capacity, and then you don't even give a shit. It's like, you know what? I need to change physios. Because, I'm like that with doctors too. If they do something wrong, I change doctors. I don't care that their techniques work for most people and not for me. Or that maybe they've got a good 5-star review from everyone, but I just don't like them. If I don't like someone, I sack them. And then when I'm at the doctors and they say, did you see a physio for back issues? I say yes, and I still have back issues. They're like, oh shit. Oh shit. I'm like, yeah. Don't ask me to go to another physio, because they don't address back issues. They're meant to, but they don't. And the doctors are like, oh my God. Get me a physio through the public system and get them to fucking fix up a few exercises that they can get any 5-year-old to manage, and I'll be fine. But don't take me to a fucking physio clinic again, because they're all dodgy. They do not help people who have back problems. They make people worse, but they don't make you better. So yeah, I can't believe when I bagged this physio clinic, this doctor agreed with me and was like, yeah, Some physios are very good, you just have to find them, and I'm like, I haven't found one yet. I'd rather have my back issues. Thanks, I'll deal with back pain every day and I'll take Panadol sometimes. But don't ask me to see a physio again. Oh no. We have to eventually find out what's wrong, because you don't have to see a physio when you're doing enough exercise. Like even sitting up and standing up and sitting down and lying back and sitting up. You're doing some back exercises, but we have to fix your back eventually, because if it gets worse you can't walk anymore and you don't want to be unable to walk around. And I'm like, well, that doesn't avoid the question of if I lose my ability to walk. And they're like, yeah, well, some people do lose their ability to walk, but some people can get their back treated and still walk for years after that. I'm like, well, okay, fine. The doctor said, continue with your exercises, but if you don't like your physio, you can change physios and take those exercises to your new physio and say, can these be modified or changed, or do you have any new exercises? Because everyone's saying I have muscle pain in my back, but I'm stretching the muscles and my spine is still sore. So how is it muscular when it's my spine? And if they're a really decent physio, they'll say, well, your muscles can hurt too, but if you're stretching your muscles and your actual spine is hurting, it's probably not just the muscles. And then they'll change the exercises or choose a different treatment option, which, is something everyone should be doing. And if it's a back problem, it usually involves the vertebrae, not just your muscles. So any physiotherapist who says, the pain is caused by your muscles tightening up around your tailbone, it's not your spine, they're dodgy, because tight muscles can hurt your back. But when you fix those and you still have a sore spine, they basically gaslight you into believing you don't have a sore back. I just go to the doctor and say, well, the physio said I don't have a sore back. This is what it honestly feels like to me in this particular spot, wherever it is. I'm doing heaps of exercise to make it not deteriorate, but fuck, it hurts. And then the doctor's like, well, shit, of course there's pain. There isn't much that can be done about it if you're dealing with it really good. There's not much alternative treatment options other than to continue your exercise. But tell your physio to get fucked and get a new one. So that's what I've done. So they're like, your physio can't just tell you, no, you're not in pain, or you're just stressing out too much. They can tell you to stress less, but stressing less has no evidence or any scientific evidence for reducing pain. Less anxiety does not reduce physical pain. It really doesn't. There is no proof or scientific validation that physical pain is always caused by stress. What if it's cancer? What if there's a tumour growing somewhere? I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying if you have something that hurts on your body and they first tell you to stress less, get rid of them, because they're fucking dodgy as. They're meant to look at physical issues and rule out a medical problem before assuming it's psychiatric. And next week, I'm going to tell me doctors everything, and they're going to say, well, because we're dealing with psychiatric problems and needing a psychologist, we have to do all these other stupid tests. Because if we overlook something because of your psychologist, you're going to get more and more sick and you're going to lose your ability to walk and all this other fucking shit. And the psychologist will help you with therapy, but they won't help you get your ability to walk. They'll help you with different types of therapy. But if I can't walk anymore, the psychologist isn't going to fix my back. So I need the psychologist to keep my mental well-being nice, like happy, and not always perfectly happy either. Just they're going to do something decent for my mental health, but if we don't fix my physical issues because, I'm just stressed and anxious and I get better from that, I will then have other problems that will fuck up my life even worse than seeing a psychologist for stress and anxiety and depression and all that. It's one thing to get rid of all that, but there's no point in telling a psychiatrist, hey, my back's hurting, or I don't know, my stomach or my back or whatever, and I just want my psychological issues fixed, but I won't be fixing my health care because fuck it, if I die, I die. I just want to be happy while I'm dying. I mean, a psychologist will probably want me to fix my physical issues too. Because for years and years, people are like, stop stressing, then you won't have reflux. Get less anxious, get less stressed, get less depressed, and all your problems will go away. Well, in March this year, my problems were getting worse, not better. So the doctors pretty much ditched all of my stupid therapy techniques and said, they're a heap of shit, you need a new psychologist, you need a new fucking physio, you're making yourself sick, you're not getting better. And yeah, you can keep up with your exercises and you can keep up with your stupid mental health strategies, but they're not going to help you when you can't walk anymore. Fuck them off and find a new treatment plan. So that's what I'm doing. And then the doctors have said, the only thing that's going for you is your diet. Keep it going, it's working. Keep a decent diet because you'll keep it and you'll be fine. And they went, if you're trying to lose weight, whoever told you needs to fuck off, because everybody probably needs to lose weight, but that doesn't mean they have to starve to death to lose weight. Tell whoever it was to piss off and report them and have them sacked from being a physio or a psychiatrist or doctor. They need to lose their friggin' job today. So yeah, a few people have been reported because of their behaviour. And one of the gyms I was going to, the gym closed down and their people were fucking sacked. So I don't know if any of their people are working in different jobs or another gym or what. But I'm hoping whatever happened, they will not be getting more jobs or working in the medical industry or whatever anymore, because I reported some shit to my doctors and they're like, no, exercise is meant to be pleasant, and as you get stronger, you naturally get more energy to want to do that exercise a lot more harder and more challenging and all that. But if you're just starting out and people are pushing you into exercising more, well, that's no good. It's just not good at all. I've had to lose a few medical professionals this year because of some fucking really outrageous gaslighting fucking other behaviours, because if they think you're blind, or as soon as they know you're blind, they don't give a fuck about your well-being or human rights or anything. So these fucking hospital doctors are like, if you've been given advice, forget about what you know and learn something different, because if you're having trouble, you're telling us you're having issues and it's getting fixed. And if you're having trouble walking when you have to leave the hospital, you'll get back to normal eventually, but stop lying and just say you're having trouble walking and you'll eventually get over it. But if you try and get up and walk around when you're not ready and you collapse, you'll be even more screwed than if you just said, I'm having a bit of trouble walking, and then they can help you till you're not going to collapse anymore. So, yeah, I also hate the Medicare rebates for, well, it's not even a rebate. It was strictly under Medicare, so I didn't have a capped fee to pay. The physio could only see me for half an hour. I thought that was fucking dodgy. I thought that was really, really dodgy. Half an hour. And then my dodgy support worker, who I got rid of, she only let me get a back massage for 40 minutes because that was her decision, not mine. So I got rid of her. Because she would always choose the times. Oh, you can only have acupuncture for 20 minutes. You can only have Chinese massage for 40 minutes. And I'm like, no. If support workers start choosing how long I have massages and other medical procedures going for, like if they say I'm only going to hang around for 40 minutes, it's like, well, you can leave then, because I'll go home in my own time and you're sacked. You're not coming back. It's actually my choice how long I hang out with the massage therapist for them to treat my back. And trust me, they are way better than the physio. They're heaps better. I find Chinese physios heaps better. Chinese massage practitioners, they're a lot more understanding, and they press on your back and they readjust your back, and it's like my back ends up feeling good for several days, not just a day or two, but like a week, and I'm like, oh. It's unbelievable, to be honest. So that's my coffee done. So I am overly strict on people because of how many times people have restricted what I can and can't do because they've decided they know what's better for me. After meeting me for 5 minutes, they know what's best for me. And I'm like, yeah, fuck off. I'm sacking you. You're gone. And the amount of times people think they can just touch me without my consent, or talk on my behalf without my consent, I'm like, nah. I don't put up with shit anymore, and if people have any reason to be offended at me because I'm living in a way that disagrees with their values, religious beliefs, creeds, whatever, I'm like, okay then, find a new client. I will find a new support worker. And if my doctor's not very happy with that, she'll have to agree to move on or find me a different doctor, because I won't put up with any bullshit from literally no one. I just, yeah, I can't deal with people anymore. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. Oh, that bloody backwash thing. That stupid freaking reflux thing that happens spontaneously. I don't even have to be stressed out. I can just be chilled out, sitting there and just backwashes. I'm like, you stupid idiot. And like, a lot of people are like, oh, is it the food you eat? I'm like, kind of. I can't eat spicy food. But if you reduce me to having a really bland diet, veggies only, just water, I still reflux that. I reflux everything. So even if I have 0 caffeine, 0 salt and sauce, no pepper, if I just had veggies, no meat, I would still reflux that. I still reflux no matter what food. Like, people just don't get it that not all medical conditions are food related or dietary related. The root cause of a medical problem is not always food. The root cause is not even relevant to my diet. It's like people say, oh, if you have less stress, you have better health. I'm like, no, you don't, because there's no correlation between stress and health conditions. You can be the most chilled out, least anxious person ever with no mental problems and still be really sick. Like, there's no correlation between stress and health. I know stress increases your risk of health problems, but that doesn't mean if you are fully stressed out constantly that you're going to automatically have a health condition or other health problems. I cannot understand people who think automatically that body shape or mental health has literally anything to do with mental health condition, physical health conditions. There are plenty of really skinny people who have health conditions. Plenty of people who don't have any stress in their lives and life should be super peaceful, but they're really sick anyway. Like, it has nothing to do with having a mental health condition or stressing or being overweight or anything. There's literally no correlation between stress and anxiety and obesity and all that. Some digestive issues can happen from anxiety, but then when you're dealing with your anxiety problems and you still have stomach issues, something's wrong, So if anyone judges me now, I just say, well, yes, okay, and then I avoid that person like the plague. I avoid that person forever. A favourite tactic of religious people is for them to say, can't you be forgiving? I'm like, Yes, but the Bible never told me that I had to talk to people who I forgive. The Bible said to be forgiving. The Bible said I have to forgive people, but it did not say I have to have a relationship with whoever I forgive. And it did not say, oh, if you refuse to talk to the person after you've forgiven them, I'm going to assume you haven't forgiven them. It doesn't say that. It just says, if you don't forgive someone, God doesn't forgive you. It does not say that God requires you to actually talk with or reconcile with that person to be forgiven. I can forgive someone, choose to never reconcile with them, never speak to them again. I can forgive them, I can release them, not have anything to do with them, not hold a grudge against them, say hello if I bump them in the street, and then just have nothing to do with them apart from, hello, I'm busy, I have to go now, thanks, bye, no, I can't have you come around, yes, I like you, but or maybe I don't like you. I can say, I don't like you, but I wish you all the best, see you later. Or, I like you, but we argue too much, see you later. Or, I don't know. Mix and match whatever words you want. But it's basically, no, I'm busy, sorry, see you later. No, I don't have visitors, thank you, bye. I can be really forgiving and really polite and really religious, but I do not have to talk to these people or have a relationship or reconcile in order for God to forgive me, because he did not say, oh, if you don't speak to this person, if you don't reconcile with this person, that's the same as not being forgiving, because he never said that anywhere in the Bible. It does say, if at all possible, reconcile with your brother. First, you have to forgive him, right? But only if it's possible do you have to reconcile. Meaning it's not always possible to reconcile. And it's not always, and this is why I don't go to church, and I don't get me wrong, some religious people are fantastic. So I'm not having a go at Christians, Muslims, Jews. And please, for the love of God, for fuck's sakes, don't tell me I'm anti-Semitic and hate Jewish people. I do not hate Jewish people. If there's anybody that is anti-Semitic, I'm sorry that you are anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic, so don't expect me to be that way, and please, don't call me anti-Semitic when I'm not. Okay, so we'll start from zero. And I don't care if you're Christian, Buddhist, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, zero religion, atheist, agnostic, cult group like Jehovah's and Christian Science and all that stuff. I don't believe in it, but that's not the point of my argument, even though it's not supposed to be an argument. My fucking point is, I don't believe, because I haven't seen it anywhere in any version of any Bible, I haven't seen it anywhere that after you forgive someone you have to reconcile. I've only read anywhere in any version of any Bible or book that forgiveness is necessary, but it is, forgiveness is necessary, but reconciliation and restoring relationships is not necessary. So my point is, for religious people, and I don't mean everyone because some people are fantastic, but religious people in general, right? If they say, oh, have you forgiven so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, so-and-so's forgiven, but so-and-so will never speak to me again, and I have no intention of ever restoring my relationship with them. But yeah, I don't hold a huge grudge. won't forget what so-and-so might have done for me to never speak to them again. For example, let's say someone steals drugs. I'm not going to hold a grudge and say, look, I'm going to wait for an opportunity to harm this person or cause trouble for this person. I will never let the drug user back into my life, whoever steals drugs, medications, alcohol, whatever. They will never speak to me again. But I don't wish harm and I don't wish for any trouble. I mean, they're going to get in trouble anyway. Why would I want to wish trouble on someone when they're already going to get into trouble? They're already going to get punished. I don't have to punish people if they're already being punished. And I don't have to not forgive someone when they're already... They have plenty of reasons not to be forgiven. I'm not going to add to their reasons not to be forgiven. You know, I'm not the police. I'm not the fucking fraud people from Centrelink or anyone else who has the job of not being forgiving and being really nasty to people who deserve to be treated. If someone's being nasty to already bad people, well, they deserve it, you know. But I'm not going to add to their punishments and add to their lack of forgiveness when I don't need to, you know. So if someone does anything wrong, I don't want God to restore me back into their life. I don't need God to do anything. Who died and made somebody the boss of what I choose to allow from God or don't allow from God anyway? I thought that was God's job to decide what I need to accept and what I don't need to accept. I thought it was his job and his decision to judge me. And forgive me or not forgive me, or I thought that was up to God to make those decisions. And if he wants me to be forgiven, he will show me Bible verses and he will show me how to be forgiven. It's not up to someone else to make God's job more difficult for God. It might not be hard anyway, but if somebody wants me to trust... I'm not trying to go on a religious rant here, but if you want me to be forgiving and loving, throwing various interpretations at me and judging me is not going to help me be more loving and more forgiving. Let's just say it right from the outset. Don't use force and tell me I don't have a free will, because that's just going to push me away further. Don't do it. Secondly, I have not read in any single stinking religious book, I don't care what it is, I have literally never read anywhere to say that every time relationships get restored, once they're broken, God doesn't always want restored relationships. I know it and God knows it. It's in the bloody book. Have a bloody look. I'm serious. If God wanted to restore all relationships, there would literally be every single relationship on earth will be restored. That doesn't mean that on black and white that God doesn't want restored relationships. That's like telling God what he wants and what he doesn't want, you know. But God does not always make people get better. God does not always help people, I don't know, with their addictions, and he doesn't always, like, help people survive if they're dying. He doesn't stop them from dying. God does not always do anything that we want God to do. So get it out of your mind that God is going to restore all relationships, because you know what? In reality, no, he isn't going to do that. It's like God would like for no crimes on this earth, but is he stopping people from committing crimes? No, he's not. That doesn't mean that, God wants us to break the 10 Commandments. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to believe in it. I'm just saying there's 10 Commandments in the Bible, right? I'm not saying believe in it. I am just telling you the facts. I'm not telling you my personal beliefs or my personal opinions. Keep them for a different story, a different day, another argument. Or if I say, oh, well, my personal opinion, it's a bull crap. Okay, have your opinion, I'll have mine. I'm giving you the facts I'm giving you the facts right now. There are 10 Commandments in the Bible, and they're not supposed to be broken, but they are. If you say don't steal, don't lie, don't commit adultery, all that, people are doing it. Does that mean God wants it to happen? From a religious perspective, no, he doesn't. But it's going to happen anyway. So I will not put up with any judgmental of any kind of religion or nationality telling me, oh, you should forgive so-and-so. God wants a restoration in that relationship. No false prophet. No false prophet. He doesn't. If he did, he would have done it a long time ago. False prophet. I don't like false prophets. And actually, from a religious perspective again, and I won't turn it into a huge big diatribe of preaching and shit like that, okay? But from a religious perspective, I like knowing that there's actually stuff in the Bible that is true, like, beware of the false prophets and false teachers and all this kind of crap, because now I'm like, if someone says a heap of crap about you're not doing God's will by not reconciling with someone, I just go, well, you're not doing God's will by judging me. You're taking on God's job and you're being the judge and not letting God do the judging. So who's worse? Me for not reconciling, or you for trying to do God's job for him? Like, come on, mate. Get a grip on life. Getting a eucalyptus lolly. Hang on a second. So yeah, I don't want to turn this video into a religious diatribe, but Jesus, I'm not gonna try to twist God's. Okay, you may believe or you may not believe in God. I'm not telling you what you believe or what you don't believe, okay? I'm just telling you the facts. I'm not going to twist God's. Take what you will. I'm not going to twist something that God didn't say. Like, I'm not going to say, well, God said I need to forgive. When he did say I need to forgive people. But I am not going to turn it into something God never said, like, oh, I have to go and ring everyone up and ring up my parents and ring up my brothers and try and talk to everyone in my family and tell everyone I'm sorry and can we get back together and hang out because all of my other shit is over and the past is gone. Can we talk again? Hey, it would be ideal if I could do that. It would be very ideal if I could just tell my family members, hey, let's all get along again. But reality stinks, and even though I read somewhere that I have to be forgiving, that doesn't mean I have to suddenly get along with everyone who I forgive. I don't have to get along with people. So you know what? I'm not going to twist stuff around and turn what the Bible said into something it didn't say. And I'm not going to pray to God like a stupid idiot and ask him for something that I can already find in the Bible anyway. Why would I do that? If it's something that's not in there and I say, oh, Jesus, this goddamn NDIS plan next year. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to burn the Bible if God doesn't help me either. I don't need to burn the Bible if God does or doesn't do anything. But in any case, I'm not going to make a big pretense of these stupid idiots who make everything happen, and in one breath I need God and in the next breath I can just say what I want and get it. Because that's not real life and that is not what God says anywhere. But there are other things about words that we have to try and be as nice as we possibly can. Whenever it's feasible, we need to get along with people. If someone's being a stupid asshole to us, instead of getting to their level and screaming at them, we can just say, no, I have to go now. I don't wish to have anything to do with you again. See you later. If someone's a terrible person, we don't have to respond in kind. We can just say, never again, bye. We don't have to go and curse everyone and wish everyone would burn in hell and all that. If someone wishes for me to burn in hell, I just say, okay, I hope you get better. I hope you change your mind, and even if you don't, I hope your life gets better enough that you will not keep cursing me. I know you hate me, but I don't expect you to ever like me, but I hope you get better. We don't have to ever be friends, but I don't want to have someone in my life who wants me dead. Goodbye. And don't expect me to not report it if you're trying to hurt me or tell me to burn in hell. I'll be forgiving, and I'll just tell you to never have anything to do with me again, but I will report the situation because I don't need stupid people being twisted monsters and affecting my life for no reason other than they just don't like me. Okay, don't like me, but disliking me doesn't mean you have to do whatever you can to cause trouble for me just because you're bored. I will do something about it. I'll block people's YouTube channels. I'll hide from whoever's doing the wrong thing so that they can't keep taking advantage of me. I do all kinds of things because, yeah, I'm a realist, and I'm not saying every religious person is fake. Some religious people are genuinely true, down-to-earth, honest people. But there are so many people who are just fake hypocrites, have all these stupid judgmental ideas and comments, remarks. Super judgy, but they just don't have any concern for anyone but themselves, but have to hide behind the cloak of religious humility. So I'm like, yeah, I don't go to the church anymore because so many very evil, and I don't mean people who've just made a few mistakes and they're fixing their lives either. I mean very, very, very evil people who are just totally, totally fucked. Like totally, totally know that they don't care if they're doing the wrong thing, and will go to church regardless, just to keep getting away with their shit, basically. And now whenever anyone judges me, I just say, okay, before you go judging me, examine your own life first, and I don't want to hear any single complaint. If you claim to be perfect, and I should be just as good as you, number one, that makes you even worse, because then you're trying to be God, and no one is God. Well, there's no created person who's been created on this earth that can tell me that I can be as good as they are, because I'm like, no. No. I won't put up with any of that crap anymore. And if people go, I'm perfect and you're at a low standard, I just say, well, I don't like you either. I don't like you. End of conversation. See you later. I just think there's just a lot of religious people who don't even know how to bloody live in the real world, basically. So, yeah. And I don't believe anything I hear on YouTube anymore. I think it's all a heap of shit. This world is not changing for the worse this year. I mean, yeah, a lot of things are happening. Wars and all that. Yeah. Nothing too alarming. The weather is a little bit frightening. I get frightened of some of these thunderstorms, but I'm not alarmed like, I'm not like, the sky is going to fall down. We better get ready to leave because the sinkhole is going to happen somewhere around, there's going to be no sinkholes to fall into anyway. There's nothing drastic happening that I have to go, well, hang on, time to shift across to the other side of the world because Australia's going to sink or anything like that. Nothing's happening. It's all just conspiracy theories. Yeah, theories and fear-mongering. There is literally no evidence that anything that's supposedly happening in the Middle East is even real. People are just fighting, for fuck's sakes. Nothing else has fucking changed for decades. It's not going to change anytime soon. People are as they always were. I'm sure eventually something will give. Life does go through cycles and things do change, but I'm hearing so much stuff on YouTube that is not even close to being true. And then I'm listening to other really decent YouTube channels saying, hey, I could be lying, I could be wrong, maybe I'm just being an asshole, but this is why I don't believe this and this and that. You do you, but I'll give you my commentary on what I think is fake, and if I'm being an arsehole, tell me in the comments, but I'm pretty certain I'm not lying, and if you think I'm fake, you'll find out that I'm not faking anything. You know, like, people will tell us on YouTube when we're watching the videos why UFOs are fake. But you know what? UFOs probably are fake. I mean, maybe they're not. Maybe aliens are real. But when people give their arguments about why they find big holes in various UFO / alien / extraterrestrial entity stories, I'm like, this dude or this woman is onto something here, because maybe they're just being skeptical about something that has happened that they don't believe. But maybe they're actually telling the truth, and they are skeptical about something that, in all honesty, is just a heap of shit. So I find it funny how the skeptics will say, hey, I might be lying to you. I can tell you that there's heaps of holes in these various stories. But hey, if they're real, I want you to prove it to me. I think it's a heap of shit, but I want you to prove me wrong. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I believe the skeptics. I think they're correct when they listen to a story and they say, hey, there's big holes in it, don't believe it. I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm a skeptic too. And when stuff turns out to be true, I'm like, oh my God, you know. But for me to believe something to be true, I have to have a lot of proof. Some things are not tangible because some things are not explained by science. I get that. But there's other shit that I need real, tangible evidence. Or I'm just like, yeah, I'm reading this book and someone is pulling my leg because it sounds like a whole heap of lies and psychiatric hallucinations and other friggin' stories that I know I can't verify from a book because the person's real name is not even in the author's title page. If I can't corroborate their stories, I know it's all a heap of shit. Whole heap of crap. I was going to get the second book, but I'm not going to because they've labelled their book as non-fiction, which is clickbait, because if you label a book as non-fiction but you have literally no verifiable fucking evidence that you're telling the truth, get ready for your credibility to be shot down in flames. And don't expect people to buy your books if they find out you're lying to them. I'm just saying, if you're going to write a book and it's a non-fiction account of what you've done or what's happened in your life, please, even if your name isn't real in the book, please make sure your story is able to be corroborated. Please make sure your story is verifiable, or I will think that you're a lying, thieving bastard stealing money off people. And I'm going to report that book as spam, and what else would I report the book as? Misinformation. You're writing up a book and getting it published knowing that the information you're putting out to everyone is totally fake, and the reason you've put it as non-fiction is so you can make more money, you thieving fucking scumbag. So yeah, I'll deal with that shit as soon as I find out that people are thieving friggin' bastards. I'll turn them in, you know. I won't dox them. I won't identify and name and shame on YouTube. But hey, if I find out someone's being a stinking thief, I won't get on YouTube and say, hello, I reported a thieving bastard yesterday. I won't do that. But I will say, right, I read this book, or I heard from this person, and you know, I don't know. I don't think I can verify what I'm hearing, so yeah. That doesn't mean every single person is, every single one that is dodgy. Some people say stuff because it's like, you know, I believe this and that. It might be all a heap of rubbish misinformation, but a lot of people believe information, they have confirmation bias, all that. So, you know, yeah, but if people are dodgy with that information, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I can understand people being gullible, but if they're going to use their gullibility to then steal money off other people, I am like, holy shit, you're a friggin' scumbag. Get out of here. Do not need mongrels in my life. To my regular subscriber, once again, not you. Not you. Not you, I repeat, it has nothing to do with you having beliefs when you're not being a mongrel thieving bastard, so please, it's not you. I won't say who you are, but you can guess who you are. So yeah. Anyway, I think I've ranted a whole lot. I will be back later. These friggin' cough lollies are doing me wonders. If my doctor has a problem with them, she'll have to get me a new doctor because I do not appreciate any doctor telling me not to eat cough soothers every day. Well, if you don't like it, find a new doctor for me who will agree with me that I can have them every day because I'm not giving my personal opinion. I'm just saying that these cough lollies are really, really decent, and I'm not going to change my mind because some idiot thinks that I don't need to eat cough lollies every day. Well, good luck to them. They don't know what a persistent cough feels like, so yeah, stick it. Hopefully this doctor will be half decent and I won't sack him. In any case, I'm going to get going and I will talk to you all again later.
Speak. Call. Stop. Button.
Have a good one,
Low battery.
guys.
20%. Microphone
Yes,
in
I
use.
know, it's 20%
Stop button.
battery. I know, whatever. I will talk to you guys very soon. Again.